notion of state of the city, it's one that I find fascinating, but fascinating when you put it in the form of a question. So what is the state of the city? The fact of the matter is, I can ask people that question and get very different perspectives or responses, both within the community and outside of the community. And it's fascinating to me because I know and recognize the work that we put in and day out to try to ensure that Lancaster is a community of vibrancy, of substance, and one that continues to grow and be relevant. And so as I thought through my comments for today, my foundation really comes from the question, what is the state of the city? And so what you have to understand is that as a council, we've developed certain goals and objectives. And so I'll recount those for you. Number one, to be fiscally sound city government. Number two, to be civically engaged. Two, health, safety, and vibrant community. Three, a professional and committed workforce. Four, quality development. And then finally, sound infrastructure. And so those are really the pillars from which we try to develop strategy, set policy, and really establish a vision for how this community can move forward. And so I'll touch on some of the accomplishments in 2015 as it relates to those specific goals and objectives. When you think about fiscally sound government, we certainly understand that we are the keepers of the taxpayers' money, and we don't take that lightly. And so as such, we work very hard with our staff to really determine how can we best utilize those funds to provide the services that our residents not only need, but quite frankly, they deserve. And so when you think about 2015, we were able to establish and adopt a $47 million budget, which continues to advance the services and offerings that our residents so much deserve and again, want. We were able to maintain our general fund balance, reserve balance, to ensure that no matter what the situation is, we've got a rainy day fund. Representative Giddens, you like that term. But we've got funds set aside to address any type of unplanned or unforeseen need that may arise. And so we're very proud of the fact that we continuously, year after year, are able to meet those goals and those standards from a fiscal management standpoint. One of the things that came out of this last budget cycle was how can we take some of the burden off of our seniors? And so this budget cycle, we were able to increase the senior discount on both the water and sewer rates. And so I think our seniors will appreciate that as they continue to move forward. We went out to sell bonds this year, and as a result of that, you have to meet with the rating agencies. So Standard & Poor's and Moody's came in and kind of reevaluated our fiscal strength, and they affirmed our credit rating. And we were pleased that they were positive in terms of the credit outlook for our community because of our fiscal management, but more importantly because they recognize the growth that we are realizing and will continue to realize as a community, all of which works towards improving and strengthening and broadening our tax base. And those are the types of things that the rating agencies look at. Our fiscal management policies, Cynthia and Barron, thank you guys for what you do to ensure that we're developing policies and practices to ensure that we're being good stewards of the taxpayers' dollars. Perhaps one of the most significant achievements, if you will, from 2015 is our selection of a new solid waste provider here in the community. And so while we awarded the contract in 2015, the contractor will begin starting February 1st. So Bob Borden, I know you're going to have to get used to the new colors of the cans, but it says right on top garbage, and on the other one recycle. So it's pretty self-explanatory. But the reason why that's significant in terms of fiscally sound city government is because of the creativity of our staff, the savings that the community is going to realize from that contract, we will then reinvest in street and roadway improvements to the tune of several $100,000 a year into the millions over the term of the contract. And so the practical implication is that better roads, improved water and sewer infrastructure, those are things that will be realized because of the creativity of our staff, not to mention the fact that this contract will enhance services for our residents. Whereas we will transition from every other week recycling, we'll have weekly recycling now. In addition to, I know, I have it on my calendar as a reminder to put it out this week. So you don't have to worry about that now. When the garbage comes, you can set your recycle out as well. But other enhancements, such as additional trash offs, as well as hazardous household disposal opportunities. So we're excited about what that new contract will represent for our community. And again, it speaks to our goal of fiscally sound government. Civic engagement. You know, this always represents an ongoing opportunity for us. How do we better connect with our citizens and our residents, and really to the outward world about what's going on here in the city of Lancaster? I will tell you that one of the things I'm proud of is the fact that our library, through the leadership of our librarian and our quality of life services director, Sean Johnson, is, you know, the library continues to represent a focal point for every community in this country. And to that end, we continue to expand our offerings and opportunities for residents to take advantages of the services that our library has to offer. For example, you know, our Learning Express library. You know, this is an opportunity where young folks in particular can come in and get necessary training on things like SAT, ACT. You know, as we talk about improving the quality of education in our community, these are resources that are available to young people. Talking about one-click digital and ebooks. You know, folks are able to check out ebooks now through our library. So again, expanding the opportunity and offerings for folks in this community and even in the surrounding communities, because we have reciprocal relationships with communities in the area. That's important. We've had increased participation, nearly 1,600 young people taking advantage of our summer reading programs through our library, representing 181,000 minutes. Mental math, Mike, how many hours is that? No, I'm just kidding. I'll get back to you on that. But really, 181,000 minutes, over 1,600 young people during the summer preparing themselves for the next academic school year to ensure that the partnership with the city and the school, again, continues to elevate and bring to light the importance of educational outcomes in our community. So we're excited about that. We also purchased a new school bus to be able to transport young people from schools to our after-school program here at the Rec Center. We recognize and understand that, you know, we've got great people, great families in this community, but they work, okay? And so their young people need to have a safe environment and a safe outlet after school, and we're proud of the fact that we're able to continue to do that as a supplement to what the school district also does for young people in terms of after-school and extracurricular activities. In 2015, we offered 2 National Night Out opportunities. As you all know, it's a little hot in Texas in August, just a little bit. And so historically, we have moved National Night Out to October, a little bit cooler, but we had such an outpouring of requests for National Night Out. We honored, or we approached 2 different communities for National Night Out events in August, and then subsequently had our regular National Night Out events in October. But that, again, is a way for us to better engage with our neighborhoods, with our residents about, hey, did you know this was going on here in town? Okay, did you know you had this opportunity or these opportunities to take advantage of? We are your city leadership. You know, if you have issues, we're the people that you need to come to. And so it's a great opportunity to connect with folks on a very, very basic level. You know, we're in the front yard, or we're in the street, or block party, and just kind of, you know, relaxed, and hey, we're here to serve you. And that's really the message that we continue to promote through National Night Out, as well as it's important that you get to know who lives with you, who lives by you, and being more neighborly. And so excited about that. We continue to offer our Educator Appreciation Luncheon. For those of you in the education field, I don't necessarily need to champion the fact that it's tough. You know, it's tough. You have to come to work every day prepared to help guide and mold and shape our young people. And we understand that there are issues that come with that, but it's a way that the city can say thank you to our colleagues at the school district for what they do day in and day out. And so we're excited to continue that opportunity to fellowship really as a community. National or Night at the Museum. So with the help of Representative Giddings, several years ago, we were able to establish an auxiliary museum here in town, which also does dual service as our visitor center. And so what we said was, hey, this is a resource that we need to continue to work to promote and enhance. And so we had kind of a relaunch of that facility in 2015, where we brought in different vendors. We also established an opportunity, or I guess a display, if you will, to honor Mr. Cleo Hearn, who was a Lancaster resident and helped establish the Cowboys of Color Rodeo. But it gives you great insight into some of the history of this city. And certainly we'll want to make sure that that continues to be a focal point and an outlet for both those here in Lancaster, but also for those traveling through our community so they can understand the rich heritage that Lancaster has to offer. And last but not least, in terms of civic engagement, you know, we continue to work through all of most of the various social media outlets to help connect with people. Because our thing is this: we don't expect you to be at every city council meeting, every board or commission meeting. But it's not hard to log on to our website and to understand, hey, this is what's going on in my community. Or if you friend us on Facebook or Twitter, you can follow the city. And we have some great people on staff that are, you know, promoting out events, activities, you know, things that you need to be aware of if you live in this community, or even if you don't. You know, I think it would be great to see how many people follow Lancaster that don't live in Lancaster. Kay Brown, where are you? I'm gonna put you to task on that. We can figure that. Don't duck your head. Oh, she's making notes. She's making notes on that, right? But I think one of the most essential things that we have a responsibility for as a governing body is the health and the safety of our community. And so in 2015, you know, we've taken a step forward in some things that we think will continue to improve and enhance how we are able to develop and evolve in terms of strengthening our neighborhoods. And so I teased Kay, but Kay Brown is one of our new employees, and she has been tasked with a dual role, one of which is to further enhance our public improvement districts. And if you're not familiar with public improvement districts, you know, these are districts that neighborhoods can establish to really work towards enhancing their communities, both from an aesthetic aspect, but also in terms of establishing governing bodies within their neighborhoods so that they can address issues that are really specific to their community. And so Kay has been charged with really working with our public improvement districts to ensure that from a governance structure, from a support structure, we can do what we can as a city to enhance what they want to accomplish from a neighborhood standpoint. But in addition to that, she will continue to serve in our community relations role, which is another area in which we try to connect with people and help them understand how we can be partners as city administration, as the governing body, you know, with our residents, and to help them understand what the overall vision is for the community, but more importantly, how we can assist them in what their vision is for their specific neighborhood. I've said this before, and I will continue to repeat it. You know, the best communities are ones that have strong, engaged neighborhoods and residents that realize that what they do in their neighborhood matters, and it really affects the overall city. And so we want to continue to work to enhance and improve that as a city. When I look at crime and I look at the stats for 2015, in virtually every major category, there is a reduction in those statistics. And so that's really a testament to our public safety professionals, our police, our firefighters, and their commitment to ensuring that our community is safe. You know, I looked at the numbers from a fire response service call number. 6,535 calls in 2015. Now, there are only 365 days, excluding leap year. So again, do the math. I mean, our fire professionals are responding to calls at a significant rate, but doing so in a manner that's efficient, and we are saving lives. We are helping people get the kind of medical treatment that they need, and that's very important. Think about this, 2015, we rolled out body cameras for our whole police force. And I know that's been much of the discussion and the debate in the news over the past few years, but as a community, we recognize that that improves the level of accountability. In addition to that, all of our patrol vehicles now have a new video camera system to, again, enhance the accountability of our police department. We've also equipped our police department in 2015 with 5 new patrol units, and that's important because if you think about the life of a police car, it's constantly going, and so it's incumbent upon us as the governing body to ensure that our staff has the tools that they need to be able to provide the services that are so much in demand and required. A lot of people gauge and measure the success of a community based on development, brick and mortar, what they see, going up, being erected, road work and sewer work and the like. And listen to this. Hear me out, folks. Panattoni Development, Copeland Commercial, Van Trust, Principal Investors, Huntington Industrial Partners, and Holtz Lumford. Okay, these are national, international, regional, commercial development companies that have said Lancaster, meets the value proposition. This is where we need to be. And so while I will certainly not take credit for all of that, nor should our city council or staff take credit for that, but understand that we are focused on creating and helping people understand the value proposition for being in Lancaster to do business. And so those companies represent several million square feet worth of development that is either underway or will be underway as we speak. And that translates into hundreds of millions of dollars in new taxable income for the community. Not only that, it means what, folks? It means job opportunities. Okay? You can't have a successful community if you don't have people that can go to work and provide for themselves and their families. And so we recognize the fact that as a governing body, we have to ensure that we're creating policies, that we are looking at strategies to attract and retain these type of investors and investment, because that is what's going to ultimately help continue to benefit our community and all of the entities that can benefit from those types of developments. So the question was asked of me, hey, do we have any big things coming? Of course we do. Of course we do. So you continue to watch, and you will see that there will continue to be additional development opportunities as we move into 2016. But really coming out of 2015, I've said it, folks, the momentum is behind us. And the challenge is, how do we manage that? How do we make sure that we capitalize on all of these opportunities that stand in front of us? And so the city manager has assured me that we're going to be ready, Mayor. Isn't that right? Okay, she's not. She said we're ready. But in addition to that, we've had companies like FFE, which is a national transportation company. They said, look, one of the challenges that we have in terms of drivers, commercial drivers, is training. So they selected Lancaster, Texas, out of all the cities in Texas, to establish a 34,000 square foot brand new state-of-the-art training facility. Okay? Yep. And that was in partnership with the good folks at Cedar Valley College. I know Monroe Mays is here. There he is. To help them develop training curriculum and identify strategies to ensure that when folks matriculate through that program, they're in a position where they can go out and they can operate equipment in a safe and effective manner to transport goods and services throughout this, or goods and products throughout this company. But again, recognizing that Lancaster is really at the crossroads of transportation and logistics, it's exciting to know that, again, that represents or communicates that we are a strong value proposition as a community. You think about the Stainback Group. I announced last year that they were going to begin construction on a neighborhood Walmart. That has since occurred. But as a spinoff of that, we're pleased that there is an additional retail center that will be adjacent, which will be called the Mills Branch Village, which will continue to offer additional retail opportunities for residents in our community along the Beltline Blue Grove corridor, which we know will continue to be an important corridor for this community. When you think about all of the commercial growth that we've seen, you think about the success of the school district. 2015, we saw 105 new home starts. 105, folks, okay? And that's significantly more than in 2014. So you look at the strength of the economy, you look at the success of our school district, the fact that our community continues to offer great amenities and is in close proximity to really most things here in the Metroplex. So it's not necessarily just the number of homes. What I always grin about is the value of the homes. You know, at an average value of about $200,000, that's significant, folks, because when we drill down through our budget town halls and we help people understand how we do and what we do with the funds that we have at our disposal, it costs about $160,000 to provide the conglomerate of services. So when you think about a home that costs or that has an average value of $200,000, if I put on my businessman hat, that's profit, folks. Okay, so that's revenue over and above what it costs to provide services to those dwellings. And so when you think about a community that has right now about an average home, medium home price or cost value of about $88,000, $89,000, the fact that we have new development that continues to bring higher price points to our community, as well as diverse housing options, that's important, because what we want to do is to be able to capture people from young professional, family with kids, to empty nester, to retiree, because we think that as a community we offer a wide variety of opportunities for folks from all spectrums of life. Sidewalk replacement program. Well, okay, what is that? Why is that important? Thank you, Ms. Trina. Ms. Trina clap, because let me tell you why that's important, folks. As a community that has aging areas, we recognize that sidewalks, as basic as that may be, sidewalks are an essential amenity for communities. People walk, kids ride their bikes, those kinds of things. And so in some of our aging areas, we recognize that we need to come up with a program to help redevelop or reconstruct those amenities. And so I'm pleased that our staff was able to bring to council's attention a program where we can partner with the resident to be able to match the cost to come in and repair those aging sidewalks, particularly where trees have, the root systems have grown and have, kind of elevated the sidewalks to make them unsafe. And so that's a program that we know Although we just launched it at the end of 2015, 2016 and beyond will continue to grow and gain traction. And again, tying back into how do we make neighborhoods better. How many of you know that we have an airport? Okay, that's maybe half the room, okay? Well, Lancaster is fortunate in that a community of our size has a regional airport. And so we've taken a lot of time and invested a lot of thought and energy into how can that become a more valuable amenity for our community, but also the region. And so in 2015, we expanded taxiways, which makes it easier for planes to get back to the terminal. We also have created an area for helicopters to be able to park. Helicopters park, yeah, I guess that's, yeah, right. But perhaps most significantly, folks, is while we approved the funding in 2015, in 2016, we will embark upon a project, thanks for the partnership with TxDOT Aviation, to erect a new terminal at our airport, which will not only expand square footage for both meetings rooms and meeting spaces, but also for pilot amenities, because we understand that as additional commercial and industrial development occurs in this community, it just becomes a more practical scenario where corporate executives, investors can fly into our airport, park, have a great meal, run over to their property, look at the investment, and then be able to fly back out the next day or the same day. And so we understand and know that that amenity will continue to enhance our visibility as a community, but more importantly, create an opportunity for folks to be able to, again, be able to access their investments in a very practical and timely manner. So I could go on and on and on, but I won't. I promised that I would wrap up because I know the Chamber has other things that they want to do with this program, and quite selfishly, I have another meeting that I have to get to. So it works out great for everybody. But you know, every year I do this, and I try to help people understand that the state of the city is very much vibrant and positive. And I'm excited to have the opportunity to be a part of what's going on here in this community. But I will tell you, we've got a lot of challenges in front of us. And not that I'm not proud of what we've achieved in 2015 and in the past, I recognize, folks, that there is still much work to be done. And I had a staff meeting with my folks at our waste hauling company, and I raised the question, how do we do what we do? And more importantly, are we doing it in the best possible manner? And so while I use that thought process in our business, as I mentioned, I drive a lot, I think about that as a city. As a council, as a staff, you know, how can we do what we do better, more effectively? Because in the end, if we can do those things, it all works out, folks. It all works out. People are accountable for what they do. Okay, they understand what their expectations are. And so it's incumbent upon us as elected officials and as governing bodies to continue to push the envelope on what the vision and what the goals are for this city. And I will tell you, I believe that Lancaster will continue to be at the forefront of success for not just our city, but for this region, and to a larger extent, this state and beyond. But we have to be disciplined. We have to put in the work. And more importantly, we have to be dreamers. Okay? And we have to really recognize that what we do now is not just about right now. It's about not necessarily my future, but the future of all these young people that we're trying to create opportunities for here in the school district and in the city. You know, I was so excited about the fact that the citizens of this community recognize the importance of education and supported the school bond, and support the vision of the school district and their leadership. And we will continue to be partners, strong partners, to ensure that not only the city, but the school district and our other educational partners, Cedar Valley and North Texas, University of North Texas at Dallas and beyond, and even our corporate partners, understand that what we're trying to do is bigger than just our collective selves, okay? It's really about making sure that this community is relevant, is vibrant, and continues to be on the tongue, on the tips of everybody's tongues when they're talking about the great things that are happening in this metropolitan area. And so, as I prepare to take my seat, I really, really want you all to think about that question. What is the state of the city? And more importantly, now that you've heard it from the horse's mouth, you can be an army of cheerleaders that can go out and help communicate and convey that, you know what, you better watch out for Lancaster. I know it's quiet, it's methodical, okay? We don't necessarily believe in a lot of fanfare and rah-rah. We just believe in getting it done. But that's what we're about, folks, and that's what the leadership of this council and this city staff is about. And so I'm grateful again for this opportunity to be able to share, you know, my thoughts with you all today. Thank you for your attention. And I'm going to turn it back over to you, Mr. Jeff Steele, and you can bring us home. All right?